May 10th, 2023. 2:14 inches the morning. We are at the Bellagio in Las Vegas. Upstairs. The air is thick with the scent of expensive perfume and desperate hope. The roulette wheels spin in a hypnotic blur. But 3 floors beneath the fountain, in a corridor that doesn't exist on any guest map, the silence is heavy. A security guard's flashlight cuts through the dark, and then it stops. Michael Brennan freezes. For 21 years, he was Machine Mike. He was the invisible man patching slot machines and fixing server racks, hidden in plain sight. But tonight, there are 2 briefcases at his feet. Inside them, $25 million in high-denomination chips, one wrong word, and a 2-decade-long plan turns into a life sentence. This wasn't just a simple heist. This was the ultimate cybercrime documentary. A masterclass in how a single human bug can crash the most secure system in America. To understand how Michael Brennan breached the Bellagio, you have to understand the mind of what I call a system seer. Born in 1,976 inches, Dayton, Ohio, Brennan grew up in a world of broken gears. By age 12, he was stripping radios blindfolded. By 16, he was the guy local businesses called to fix their alarm systems. He didn't just see a lock. He saw the mechanical friction. He didn't just see a camera. He saw the refresh rate and the blind spot. In 2001, Brennan landed a job as a slot technician at the Bellagio. For most people, that is just a steady paycheck. For Brennan, it was an invitation to spend 20 years studying the most sophisticated security architecture on the planet. Las Vegas casinos are essentially massive, windowless data centers that happen to serve drinks. They utilize everything from biometric gate analysis to non-obvious relationship analysis. This software was originally designed by the CIA to find links between terrorists, but Brennan knew the golden rule of cybersecurity. The more complex the system, the more shadows it creates. By 2021, the world had changed. Layoffs and automation left Brennan feeling like a disposable component in a machine he knew better than the owners. His loyalty didn't just fade. It curdled into resentment. He spent the next 18 months building a digital shadow of the casino. He documented guard rotations with the precision of a Swiss watchmaker. He even used his maintenance access to install micro-transmitters, building a library of clean surveillance footage. This is a technique we see often in high-level internet mysteries and dark web scams. It is called a video loop injection. If you can feed the security monitors a loop of an empty hallway from 3 hours ago, you can walk through that hallway in real time. And to the person watching the screen, you are a ghost. No one robs a vault alone. But Brennan didn't go to the dark web to find his muscle. He did something much more dangerous. He looked for the forgotten ones inside the building. First, there was Lacey Voss, a former dealer who knew the rhythm of the floor and the exact weight of a counterfeit chip. Then came Felix Guerrero, a printer who understood RFID encoding, the digital heartbeat inside every high-value casino chip. But the most critical link in this entire chain was Janet Cole. Janet was a 6-year veteran in the main cage. She was the human firewall. Brennan didn't use a phishing email to get to her. He used empathy. He helped her through a messy divorce, becoming the only person she truly trusted. In the world of major phishing attacks, we call this whaling. But in the real world, it is just the long game of social engineering. The plan was an elegant, systematic extraction. There were no masks and no guns. They were going to make the Bellagio's own software hand over the keys. The centerpiece was the Rebate Cascade. In the world of high-stakes gambling, whales get rebates on their losses as a loyalty perk. Brennan created a network of fictional players. Digital ghosts with years of simulated gambling history. He used his access to the loyalty servers to create a paper trail of massive losses. By the time the heist began, these players were officially owed tens of millions in promotional credits. It was financial fraud disguised as a routine accounting adjustment. May 8, 2023. Brennan walks in for his shift with his usual battered toolbox. Hidden in a false bottom is a microprocessor no larger than a credit card. This was a hardware Trojan. He installs it in the B3 server hub with a goal to create a distributed denial of service attack for physical machines. At 5:43 a.m., the floor erupts, not with sirens, but with error messages on hundreds of slot machines. This was the ultimate diversion. While every technician in the building was scrambled to fix the slots, the blind spots Brennan created were going live. On May 9th, Lacey Voss entered the floor. She wasn't there to win. She was there to wash the currency. She traded counterfeit chips, perfectly encoded by Guerrero, for real ones. By the time the RFID scanners could flag the duplicates, the chips had already been cashed out. But then, the human element intervened. The one thing you can't code. May 10th. The fire alarm goes off. While guests are being funneled to the exits, Brennan is in the restricted chip vault. He is filling cases with $25 million in high-denomination chips. Suddenly, a flashlight hits his eyes. Caleb Yates, a young security guard, hadn't followed the evacuation protocol. He was doing a manual sweep. Brennan tries to play the invisible tech card. He tells him he is just checking the dispensers for power fluctuations. It almost works, but Brennan had snagged his shirt on a dispenser in his rush. A tiny shred of fabric. A physical digital footprint. Yates sees it and reaches for his radio. In that moment, the invisible man became a violent one. Brennan lunges. There is a struggle in the dark. A heavy diagnostic scanner is used as a weapon, and a guard is left unconscious and zip-tied. The clean heist was now a crime of blood. The clock was ticking. On May 11th, Detective Nora Blackwood is on the case. She notices a pattern between the equipment removals and the system glitches. She intercepts a truck leaving the loading dock. Inside, $45 million in assets. But Brennan isn't in the truck. He is in the service tunnels, the underground internet of the Bellagio. He escapes through a storm drain, leaving his hired contractors to take the fall. Most people would run now. But Brennan knew he had one more card to play. The big one. The main vault. On May 13th, at 2:30 inches the morning, an armored truck pulls up. The paperwork is perfect and the authorization codes provided by Janet Cole are valid. The surveillance feeds controlled by Owen Traz show a routine transport, while the reality is very different. Guerrero, dressed as a supervisor, walks out with $175 million in cash. By the time the day shift realized the emergency audit transfer was a fiction, the truck was long gone. The money was already being split and funneled into offshore accounts. The total haul was $280 million. Brennan's exit was as clinical as his entry. While the FBI was scouring the tunnels, a man named Clayton Pierce was boarding a flight to Istanbul. Michael Brennan, the man who knew the machines, had finally become a ghost. The Bellagio breach is a chilling reminder. The greatest threat to any system isn't a hacker in a hoodie halfway across the world. It is the person who has the keys, the badge, and 20 years of resentment. So, how do we protect ourselves from the Michael Brennans of the world? Whether you are a multi-billion-dollar casino or just an average user, These principles apply to you. First, the principle of least privilege. Brennan had access to areas he didn't need for his daily job. In your digital life, never give an app more permissions than it absolutely requires. Second is zero trust architecture. The Bellagio trusted Brennan because of his tenure. But in modern security, we move toward never trust and always verify. Use multi-factor authentication on everything. Even if someone gets your password, they can't get past your physical security key. Third, watch for social engineering. Remember Janet Cole. Brennan didn't hack her computer. He hacked her emotions. Be wary of urgency or confidentiality in emails. If a friend asks for a weird transfer, call them on a known number to be sure. Finally, have physical and digital redundancy. Use the 3-2-1 rule. 3 copies of your data on 2 different media, with 1 copy off-site. Michael Brennan remains on the FBI's radar. A $280 million shadow somewhere in the world. He proved that no vault is uncrackable if you understand the person holding the door. I am the digital sleuth. Stay vigilant. Stay secure. And remember, the most dangerous part of any machine is the human operating it. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the darker side of tech, hit the subscribe button. We have more internet mysteries and cybercrime documentaries coming your way. Would you have spotted Machine Mike before he vanished? Let me know in the comments. This is the Digital Sleuth. Signing off.